Anonymous for the Voiceless, Cube of Truth, Joey Carbstrong, Earthling Ed, lots of the people that spend time filming themselves online, talking to other people about veganism. Almost all of them push people to Challenge 22, which got me thinking, does Challenge 22 actually work? So according to Challenge 22's webpage, they have had 204,550 people participate since they started, almost exactly 5 years ago. Are they vegan? Are they vegetarian? Do they become activists? We don't know. But 204,550 people divided by 5 years is approximately 40,910 people that participate in Challenge 22 every year. That equates to 112 people a day. Let's just round up. 113 people sign up and participate in Challenge 22 somewhere in the world every day. That's amazing. But let's throw this number up. It keeps going up and up and up and up. And our numbers are not keeping up with that. If we can't create a number of vegans every day to keep up with this number, then we're not winning. If the 1,000 chapters of Cube of Truth are all pushing people to consider veganism and that they are encouraging people to do it through things like Challenge 22, we got a real problem. Right? This isn't me saying we need to stop talking about veganism or encouraging people to be vegans. I want the world to be vegan. Honestly, I do. But I think we need to be realistic about what we can and can't do right now by convincing people that their individual habits, if changed, will save the world. We politely talk to people and educate and confront and hold accountable and humiliate and all sorts of tactics to tell people that if they aren't vegan, that they should be and they need to be. But ultimately, I think we need to recognize that those people eating animals aren't the problem. They're the symptom of a much bigger problem. And that problem is the corporations, the industries that are actually killing. They are the infection. Despite our feelings on supply and demand, that demand isn't driving the infection. It's the supply. It's the other way around. The movement spends an enormous amount of time convincing one person at a time, and we never really get anywhere. But it feels like we're getting somewhere, right? We can see that change right in front of our faces. But if we look around, yes, I know there are way more plant-based options in the stores and the restaurants than before. That's great. I'm all for that. You feel good, but at the end of the day, now the corporations are making a buck not off of just dead animals, but vegan food. We have some friends who went vegan and a family member or two, and I talked to some people at the last event, and I planted some pretty big seeds. And it's at this point Connie Spence from the Agricultural Fairness Alliance pops up and says, it's all canceled out by subsidies. And she's right. We can solely push our vegan agenda to the individual, but unless we can start seeing real big change real fast, it's not going to do anything. And what is really big? Upwards of like 10 to 20 to 30% of the population shifting to a vegan lifestyle in order for us to start seeing really big global change. And a quick reminder, most people statistically stop being vegan after they become vegan. So we need that 10 to 30% to actually stay vegan. That's our population growth just for today. And just to be clear, when I filmed this, there was still like 6 hours left in the day. We want to hit that 10 to 30% mark. At the very least, we're going to need to create 15 to 45,000 lifelong vegans every single day. Think about that.
We don't have the demand to shift supply and demand. We don't have the ability and the finances and the money and the power to shift multinational corporations that are making billions of dollars based on what we want and what we're demanding as consumers. We just don't have it. It's like going to an auction house to try to outbid a millionaire when you only make $30,000 a year.
But here's the most alarming statistic, in my opinion. Globally, the number of animals slaughtered for food has gone up 2.9%, but the global population increased 1.7% since 2020. That means we are killing and eating more animals than ever before as individuals and societies. We can look at the 82 billion number and be shocked, but it's hard to even quantify like what that looks like, right? But the fact that we are out eating and out killing our former selves, despite everything we know as a global population, to me, that is alarming. It's not looking good. What if the industries were being affected? Maybe it would be worse if it wasn't for all our vegan outreach. Well, no, for two reasons: exports and subsidies. I don't think our vegan outreach affects these numbers in any way. The numbers of chickens dying on farms has been steadily rising, as has the number of chickens dying in the slaughterhouses. 597 million chickens in the US alone die in hatcheries or during transport or were determined unfit for human consumption. And if that wasn't awful enough, that's only 6% of the 9.8 billion chickens killed for food in the United States. A few different polls put the US vegan population between 1 and 3%. So let's just go with 2%, which I think is actually pretty generous. But that's 6.68 million vegans in the United States. Yay us. And since we're doing an analysis of how many animals are saved by not eating them, let's turn to the masters of numerical magic, animal charity evaluators. They have spent a long time convincing people. Anyway, they say by eating a plant-based diet in the United States, you are saving 11 farmed birds a year. That's incredible. I feel like I'm already making a difference. But with 6.68 million vegans, all removing 11 birds from the kill line a year, we are saving an astronomical 73,480,000 chickens, which is incredible. Who's funding that sanctuary? Am I right? Question I always ask about these outreach scenarios we are presented with are we really making a difference? Are we really saving animals by simply being vegan? Are we keeping animals out of slaughterhouses? According to these figures, when we factor in our imaginary 73 million saved, we are still seeing over 523 million chickens dying before they even get to the slaughterhouse, before they even get there. Our veganism isn't even affecting or reducing the 9.8 billion birds killed in the slaughterhouses. I mean, these numbers are astronomical. I'm not saying the animals are simply numbers. They're not. They're obviously individuals. I know what you're saying. Jake, you never suggest what we should be doing. And to that I say, I actually do. Let's engage in pressure campaigns rooted in smart strategies with a liberatory framework geared to pick away the industries while using outreach properly as a tactic within those pressure campaigns, as opposed to the pre-prescribed affect the demand flawed philosophy. And despite the accusation, I have dozens and dozens of videos on here diving into lots and lots of details. You're welcome.